start with $1. Double it every day. In 48 days, you'll have accumulated the wealth of the entire world, about $241 trillion. The way you save, spend, and invest this money between people and nations is what makes up the global economy. The global economy is ever-changing due to the factors such as environment, stock markets, trade, and the social climate. These factors affect the fluctuations between a nation and the world's economy. Good afternoon. My name is Leonardo Salazar.
My name is Blake Maycumber.
My name is Molly Case.
And I'm Danielle Stanley.
And today we pose the question, when regarding the economic relations between nations, to what extent does the state of one economy affect other nations? Blake?
Thank you, Leonardo. The global economy is constantly changing, more than ever going into the 21st century. The economic status of nations is playing a larger role than ever before in the political relations between one another. The world is moving past the age of pillaging and conquering and into one of economic cooperation and dependence. This cooperation can perhaps be best seen through the economic partnership between the United States and European Union, because according to Operations Services Branch Chief at Walter Reed National Medical Center, this is a $4.28 trillion economic partnership and is the largest, most integrated economic relationship in the world. Together, they are responsible for nearly half of the world's gross domestic product and are vital pieces in the global economy. For this reason, good political relations are critical to the economic stability and prosperity of both the U.S. and EU, as well as other nations. However, with how integrated both the U.S. and EU have become into the global economy, comes a great dependence on foreign economic developments for their own well-being. However, this dependence is not only unique to them, but other countries as well, and is perhaps best seen in the relationship between China and several African nations. As you can see from this chart from UN Comtrade, multiple African nations have a high relative trade intensity in respect to China. And according to Associate Professor of Economics, Jean-Claude Maswana, this may suggest that these nations have become locked into a relationship of dependency with China, and could even become, in later years, what could be called Chinese zones of influence. However, this foreign dependency will not decrease in years to come, and will only increase as more nations further integrate themselves into the global economy. Molly?
Thanks, Blake. Recently, just at the beginning of this year, the average United States stock market, known and represented as the Dow, plummeted nearly 400 points, making it the worst beginning to the stock market year in 15 years. All the United States headlines read that the U.S. stock crashes because of China. Because of China is debatable, but it's a perfect example of what I like to call the domino effect of the stock market. One of the greatest predictors of a country's economy is the stock market. The stock market allows businesses to grow outside of the traditional banking systems, and these businesses can then reach out to other investors and large corporations, strengthening their overall profit. Going back to China, their economy is slowly but surely failing, and it's probably due to the fact that the estate value in this nation is declining. Since the economy in that nation is so dependent on the estate value, they're headed towards the crash of their economy. Corporations we have here, such as Apple and Starbucks, are also present in China. Investors that are invested in these stocks see that it is failing in China and will withdraw from their investments, overall weakening the stocks in the United States as well. Another example can be seen in 2007 and 2008, when some of the world's largest economies crashed. After research, we found it was due to the United States recession in 2007, which placed a large amount of financial stress on some of the economies all over the world. One of the countries that went through the most financial stress was Greece. The International Monetary Fund during 2007 had to issue a bailout for Greece worth over $400 billion. And today, they have still yet to overcome this financial crisis. Their reputation is tarnished and destroyed. No nation wants to go into business with Greece. So right now, they're currently stagnating in their economic place within their country, and they have no hope to reassure and redefine the economic place of their economy as of right now in the future. Danielle?
Thank you, Molly. Communication amongst individuals, although different from region to region, was created for the purpose of forming relationships and sharing information, ultimately sparking a chain reaction of events that would last a lifetime. Today, what we know as civilizations have been created with an established political structure and years of innovation and technology. With regards to economic relations between two nations, there are many concepts that come into play and have a drastic effect on the surrounding nations of the world. Particularly looking at this subject through a social lens, circumstances such as the economy, birth control, and global warming all come to mind. But specifically looking at women's rights in more developed countries, also known as MDCs, and less developed countries, also known as LDCs. There is a massive difference between gender roles in more developed countries such as Germany and Norway than there are in LDCs such as Liberia and Haiti. LDCs are classified by poverty with the unrecognized ability to improve their social or economic status. In recent years, the United Nations Population Fund has kickstarted innovation by distributing contraception to vulnerable countries around the world. As you can see from this graph from Breaking Barriers, 13 countries have moderate use of contraception, while 16 have limited use. This increased use of contraception around the world has kickstarted empowerment with women. This overall affects the economy by putting more money in circulation around the globe and a larger workforce. Leonardo?
Thank you, Danielle. The environment is such a large but unaccredited factor to the global economy. It provides resources and raw materials for the country to use to create products to sell to other nations, but it's also there to take in all the waste and byproducts that the country produces. Managing the environment not only improves the environment itself for the country, but also the quality of life for the people living in it. According to DEFRA, the Department of Environment, Food, and Rural Affairs, managing the environment helps in regulating flood risks, the local climate, and managing the supply of food, of clean water, and other resources. Therefore, the care and maintenance of the environment is vital to the economy of the nation. Even though the environment can be used to a country's economic profit, it isn't the most efficient way, especially for LDCs. According to the UN, the export of natural resources remains a large factor in the economies for less developed nations. And these nations due to the lack of development in these nations, they lack the required technological advances to create products. They only sell raw materials and offer labor to other countries. To keep up with the global demands, they have to export raw materials faster than the environment can grow them back, at times damaging the environment and possibly causing irreversible effects. Even though the country receives an economic profit from the export of raw materials and is able to increase the quality of life for the people living in it, it also damages the environment, which can not only be felt by the people living in that country, but all around the world because of global warming. As you can see in my chart by the World Health Organization, the top 3 countries that have the most CO2 emission are LDCs, and the lowest of the 3 are MDCs. Danielle?
Thank you, Leonardo. Dating all the way back to the prehistoric era, the human species has been interdependent on one another for essential aspects of survival. Despite our different views on world debates such as economic dependency, birth control, global warming, or even the stock market, perhaps in the future we will see even more dots linking together every corner of the growing globe. Besides, what good is a natural resource if it cannot be traded or sold? And what purpose does border control serve if it cannot keep in check the 2 feuding nations that it separates? And what good is the state of one economy if it cannot affect the status of another? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Let me go again. So Molly, we'll start with you. Can you give me some specifics of what you learned from one specific source?
Yes. Does the specific source have to be from my research?
No.
Okay, well, specifically looking at Blake's source, he used a resource from the UN Comtrade or commodity trade, which we also used that source for our, can I scroll back? No, I can't. But on our conclusion slide, which actually supported our claim directly. It had a bunch of dots linking together, all different colors. Every color represented a different type of economy, whether it be what they're trading based on textiles or economic resources like food or water, and then all the kind of lines linking them together completely supported our claim that the economy is all related. And from Blake's source, we learned how the LDCs are dependent on China.
Okay, thank you. Leo, was there any particular information that you needed before you started your research? Like when you guys were just sitting there talking, is there something you knew, like, hey, we got to go get this to go ahead and do our paper?
There wasn't exactly a specific, so to say, subject that we were looking towards that we wanted a specific information for. Because when we first started this, we started with an open mind. We weren't really sure what we were looking for. We just wanted to make sure that the way we supported whichever position we took, that we supported it with reliable information. So we mostly looked for that reliable information with graphs, charts, data from all over the world. And then from there, we formulated our lenses that we all split apart and started researching later on.
Blake, what additional questions popped up as you were going through the research process?
Well, when we were doing our research, we would come across a lot of subjects that we wanted to look more into and that we just couldn't find, or we didn't know what we would be looking for when talking about the global economy, because it's such a broad topic. But we went basically straight to the statistics that we could find and off hard facts to talk about the global economy, because we couldn't find as much as we would have liked.
Okay. And the last question of the day. How certain are you with the conclusion or resolution you came with from all this research you've done?
With our topic on the economy, as you can see from our question, it was kind of broad. We didn't take a side. We didn't come with a certain solution rather than propose the question to you with all of the concepts that it involved. So the conclusion that we came to is that the economy is all linked together as one. We were surprised to find out that the United States wasn't just dependent on Africa and Liberia. It was everywhere around the globe, and we're all interconnected in some way or another and depend on each other.
Dishes are done.